The sound of echo chambers busting wide open is pure symphony.
What is fucking wrong with you if you're not pissed right now?
And I still think that in her lifetime she deserves to be the first female president.
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
And that was the soundtrack to my election evening. I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't throw a party. I didn't host a party. In fact, I sat right here, amazed as improbable results kept stacking up until the stack became insurmountable and uncomfortable reality set in for those who have made a habit of closing their eyes and plugging their ears and pointing their fingers for the entire year. And it was one of the best times I've had recently. And it's not even because I care about Trump. I really don't all that much. What I care about is intellectual honesty. What I care about is fair and open debate. What I care about is the competition of ideas. So it was so damn satisfying to watch those who have refused to participate in that competition confronted with a sudden and forceful shove into the ring. The joy of the night for me was not the president-elect himself. It wasn't any particular policy that he wants. It wasn't even the upset necessarily. The joy of the night for me was watching smug faces being forcibly unsmugged. It was like Heath Ledger came back for one more Oscar-worthy cameo just to say, "Let's take the smug off that face." The reason the historic unsmugging of Election Day 2016 is great is because it is millions of people being confronted with the fact that they were wrong. Political elite, media elite, celebrity elite, all of them. And there's nothing wrong with being wrong. In fact, it's desirable. Through wrongness, through the competition of ideas, we find the truth. We find what's right. We find the best ideas. But we only achieve that when we consider all of the ideas. When we hide from ideas, the truth can reveal itself quite abruptly, and in many cases, quite painfully. And so there is no shame in being wrong. I was wrong. A year ago, I thought Trump was a joke. I expected to vote Democrat, as I have my entire adult life, until I listened to all sides and decided the way I've voted historically might not be on the right side this time around. There is no shame in wrongness itself. There can be shame in how you handle it. Election night was a wake-up call. Democrats, liberals, progressives, leftists, social justice warriors, whatever you should or want to be called, this is your one pass. This is your one free chance to accept the fact that the people with whom you disagree may have a point. Maybe they're not racist. Maybe they're not sexist. Maybe there is complexity in the world to consider. Maybe if you bang the drum for tolerance, it's time to start tolerating. Maybe, just maybe, you're wrong. Maybe it's time to listen. Maybe it's time to take those fingers that are always pointing at everybody else and turn them inward at yourself. Maybe it's time for a little introspection. If your candidate didn't win, I urge you to resist the temptation for tantrum, not just because it's the intellectually adult thing to do, but because it's the winning thing to do, politically and in all walks of life. If you act like these broadcast clowns,
I have no respect for women who voted for Trump, okay? I think you're fucking dumb.
Tens of millions of Americans are totally fine with a man who's driven almost purely by racism.
Probably is a strong sentiment about not having a woman president.
This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president.
Or tweet like Lacey Green saying, "Fuck you white people, fuck you racist, misogynist pieces of shit." Or you share this garbage saying, "If you voted for Trump today, make sure to explain to your LGBT plus female, black, Latino, or Muslim friends why they don't matter to you." When you act like that, the only person you harm is yourself. You rob yourself of an opportunity for humility, for maturity, for intellectual growth. You rob yourself of an opportunity to understand your fellow man and woman. You rob yourself of a perfect opportunity to display the very type of tolerance you demand from everybody else. But maybe you don't want to hear that from me. How about you hear it from your candidate? Because this is one major issue on which she and I agree.
Donald Trump is going to be our president. We owe him an open mind and the chance to lead.
A viewer tweeted me this morning. My wife, a liberal, over breakfast said maybe it's time we start listening to the right instead of yelling racist. She gets it. No matter what side you're on, we should all want to win on the merits of the ideas and the reasoning. Everything's racist, everything's sexist, everything's bigoted. Doesn't stand up to scrutiny. Those arguments have been exposed and nobody buys them. So you can either double down and keep losing, or you can come to the debate stage with better ones. When you do that, the worst thing that happens is you learn a thing or two about people different from you. And last time I checked, I thought that's what it was all about. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at MattC_on_YT. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.